Hi friends, welcome to today's video. It's almost the end of the year and I've decided I want to make a list of 26 books that I am going to read in 2026. There is a mixture of books in this list. There's a couple new releases, books that I don't own but I want to get to, and then the majority of my list is books that I own that I want to read next year. So I guess I'm kind of thinking of this as my 2026 TBR. I want to get to every single one of these books at some point next year. No excuses, no nothing. Most of them are books that I have been putting off and, next year I'm going to get to them. So, yeah. First, I'm going to discuss the new releases I want to get to. I limited myself to only 3 to put on this list because I just know I'm going to get to most new releases that my favorite authors are coming out with. The first book on my list is The Night We Met by Abby Jimenez. Abby Jimenez is a romance writer, so this is going to be a romance, and I think it's the second book in an interconnected standalone series, which basically just means that characters from other books will probably show up throughout the whole series. So this one is the second book in a series. It comes after Abby Jimenez's release last year, Say You Remember Me. I read that and I remember enjoying it, but I don't actually remember too much about it. I definitely remember her other books a lot more. From the description, it seems like, I don't know, it's a bit of a confusing description. It says, in everyone's life, there's a split-second decision that can change everything. For Larissa, it came when choosing which guy to ride home with after a concert. That night, she had no idea she had met the perfect man. She and Chris are great together, co-parenting a slightly unhinged rescue Yorkie, sharing their favorite books and judging bread. For the first time amid all her side hustles to scope. What?
Well.
But Chris isn't the one who drove Larissa home all those months ago. Chris is her boyfriend's best friend. I'm slightly confused with how you co-parent a dog with your boyfriend's best friend. So I'm going to assume that they end up together, but I don't know. I'm definitely going to read this because it's Abby Jimenez. I read every new release that she comes out with. It's just something I look forward to every year. I am a bit apprehensive about this one though because the synopsis is a little weird. I think that one comes out in maybe April or May, so yeah, we'll definitely be getting to that one. Number 2 is Just Friends by Hayley Pham. If you live under a rock, Hayley Pham is probably one of the most well-known booktubers there is, and she just wrote a book and I'm gonna read it because this is her debut novel. It's a romance. I'm pretty sure it's childhood friends to lovers or like second chance romance vibes. Yeah, I'm just wanting to read this because I have been watching Hayley Pham's videos since I was like maybe 16, and it's just insane to see how far she's come, and I'm just really proud. But also I want to see what her writing style is like, and I've been following along with her writing process on this book, so it will be extremely interesting to see how it is. Number 3 is Phoebe Berman's Gonna Lose It by Brooke Averick. I have never been so excited for a new release. This is Brooke Averick's debut novel. She is a social media personality. She has a podcast with Connor Wood called Brooke and Connor Make a Podcast.
Hi, my love.
Ew. You look disgusting.
That's rude. That is so rude.
I love it. I watch it every week. I have also I've also been following along with her writing journey, and I'm just so beyond proud and I'm so beyond excited to read this. This is a romance, and I think it's about Phoebe Berman, who is almost 30 and is still a virgin. So she is coming up with the perfect guide to losing her virginity, and I assume some romance is going to be had. And I don't know, I just think that Brooke is just so witty and so funny, and I can't wait to see how that translates into her writing. I am hanging out for this book so bad. I think it comes out at the end of May. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be getting to that book. Now we're moving into books that I don't own, but that I want to get to this year because I'm just interested, and maybe they've just been talked about a lot, and I'm just like, I have to get to that ASAP. So number 4 is The Bright Years by Sarah Damoff. This is a fiction novel. I'm pretty sure it's a debut novel about family dynamics, addiction, secrets, just, I don't know, I just think it sounds really interesting in terms of like a psychological point of view, but also some of my favorite booktubers have rated this 5 stars or just like really highly. So I am hanging out to get my hands on this book and start reading it. Hopefully I get to it next year. Well, it's on the list, so I will get to it. Number 5 is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. When I was in high school, I was in English literature, and the other class in just normal English read The Handmaid's Tale. So I just sort of missed out on it. Never wanted to. Well, I've always been interested in reading it, but it's a bit daunting because I know the subject matter and I know it's going to be pretty dark and disturbing. But I think I finally want to get to it because I do really want to watch the TV show. And yeah, I would love to hopefully read the rest of the series after it. But if I just get to The Handmaid's Tale, that will be good enough. Number 6 is Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. I don't know. This is a fiction / mystery novel about a family who lives on a remote island, and one day there's a big storm and a woman just washes ashore on their island. And it's just about how that happened and what happens afterwards, and I think it sounds really interesting, quite different to anything I've read before. I'm fairly certain it's an Australian author, so that would be cool. And it was very popular this year, so I definitely want to get to that next year. Number 7 is The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. This is a fantasy. I don't know too much about it. The synopsis just says, a masterfully woven and playfully inventive tale of imperial intrigue, cutthroat competition, and one scholar's quest to uncover the truth. When I'm starting new fantasies, I always am cautious to start because fantasies typically follow a similar pattern of storyline and plot. So I get quite sick of it and because it becomes quite predictable. But I've seen a couple of my favorite booktubers read this and love it. They say it's best to go in blind. I know that there's going to be trials. I think that's all I know. So definitely want to get to that in 2026. Number 8 is Blue Sisters by Coco Mellows. This is a fiction novel about 3 sisters who are estranged and they are reunited after one of their other sisters passes away. And I think it's probably just about them reconnecting. Again, family dynamics really are just so interesting to me. I also would love to get to eventually Cleopatra and Frankenstein. I think that's what it's called, by the same author, but I'm not as intrigued by that one as I am by Blue Sisters. So I'm definitely prioritizing Blue Sisters. Every time I go to the bookstore I want to buy it, but I just haven't yet. Number 9 is The Shining by Stephen King. I want to read this because firstly, my brother really wants me to read it. He is going to get mad at me for saying this, but he doesn't read a lot and he just has been on me for the past couple months to read The Shining. And I'm like, okay, I will. But I put it on this list so that I have incentive to actually read it. But also at some point I do want to do a Stephen King sort of reading vlog where I read Stephen King books, because I've never read any of his books, and you know, they're obviously well loved, and I just think it's probably time to delve into that. Now we're getting into books that I own that I want to get to this year or next year. The first is The Will of the Many by James Islington. This book is ginormous. But I have heard nothing but great things about it. I have just been intimidated by it, and I think I just need to bite the bullet and dive into it. It says, at the elite Catanan Academy, a young fugitive uncovers layered mysteries and world-changing secrets in the new fantasy series. The second book just came out maybe a month ago. I'm very intrigued. More and more people that I watch on YouTube have been getting into this book, so yeah, it's definitely getting up there on my priorities. Number 11 is Hello Beautiful by Anne Napolitano. This is fiction. I am a little bit confused by the synopsis just because it seems hard to explain. It's hard to explain why I was intrigued by this book and why I bought it. I think I genuinely just saw some people read it and I was like, oh, pretty cover, so I bought it. And I have been trying to get more into literary fiction. So yeah, I have had this on my shelf for, I want to say, about 2 years or a year and a half. So definitely time to get to this one. Number 12 is Heart the Lover by Lily King. I just bought this book in Sydney about a month ago. This was another popular book this year, so very interested to get to it. It's quite short. I'm pretty sure it's fiction. The synopsis says, our narrator understands good love stories, their secrets and subtext, their highs and their free falls. But her greatest love story, the one she lived, never followed the simple rules. Sounds really interesting to me, and the people that I have seen read this got emotional, and I love a book if it can get me emotional. It means I'm connected to the story, to the characters. It just means it's done its job. So definitely want to get to that. Okay, please ignore the price sticker. I couldn't be bothered to get it off right now. Number 13 is Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. This was a very popular fantasy this year. It is romantasy. We love a bit of romantasy. I think I bought this because I saw really good reviews on it. I don't know. I did see a lot of people talking about this and how good it was, so I really would love to get to it, and I would love to just get into more fantasy in general next year. It says, Shield of Sparrows is a slow burn, high stakes romantasy where enemies become lovers, monsters stalk a cursed realm, and a forgotten princess finds the strength to tear off her crown and become the warrior she was never meant to be. Hey, at least we already know that the main character is the Forgotten Princess, so we don't have to go through the whole thing of, oh, do we know? Yeah, we obviously know, but the author's trying to keep it a secret when it is so obvious. So yeah, really hoping to get to this next year. Number 14 is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I have already read this. I read this when I think I read this when I was 15, and I was just wanting to read it. 15 or 16, I can't remember, but I read it, the whole thing, and I remember it being really hard to get through. I didn't understand a lot of the language that was used, but obviously that didn't deter me because I definitely finished it and, you know, understood what was happening. Yeah, I want to read this again because number one, I don't remember anything except for Heathcliff, and number two, the movie is coming out with Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi, and it's a bit of a twist on the story, I think, but I would love to read it again, and I think I might listen to it just so that I don't have to go through not being able to understand the vocabulary. Like, I don't know, I feel like maybe listening to it will be a little bit easier, but also because I've already read it before, and I'm like, well, might as well listen to it this time around and see how I like it after almost 10 years since the last time I read it. Number 15 is The Favourites by Lane Fargo. This is a romance book about two figure skaters and they're on a team, and they get to the Olympics. Yes, they get to the Olympics. They're very well known because they're in love and they're on a team together, their love just probably is so pronounced in the routines that they do, and they've just become really popular. But at the Olympic Games, something happens and they're no longer partners. I have heard very, very, very good things about this book. Excuse the price tag again. Oh, it's told 10 years later in an unauthorized tell-all documentary that reignites the public obsession with Shaw and Roker. Roker? Oh, that's their last name. Katerina Shaw and Heath Roker. I've been wanting to get to this for a long time. I think I got this at the beginning of the year. I'm very excited for this one. Only do this body for you, for you, for you. Body on you, body on you. Number 16 is The Wedding People by Alison Espach. I have talked about this a little bit before on my channel. I can't tell if the cover is dirty or if it's part of the cover. Anyways, whatever. This is about a woman who goes to a resort, I think, and she ends up accidentally crashing a wedding and befriends the bride, and she is not there for a wedding. I think from what I know, she is there for a very different purpose. Yeah, I think it's funny but serious and just witty and clever from what I've heard. So I'm really excited to get to this next year. Number 17 is The Devil You Know, Encounters in Forensic Psychiatry. I did want to put a psychology forward book in this list because I have a couple books and I just still haven't gotten to them. I think I'm just intimidated by them because they're probably not going to be the easiest of reads, but this looks really interesting. It says Dr. Gwen Adsheed is one of Britain's leading forensic psychiatrists. She treats serial killers, arsonists, stalkers, and other individuals who are usually labelled monsters. Whatever their crimes, she listens to their stories and helps them to better understand their terrible acts of violence. In The Devil You Know, Adsheed invites the reader to step with her into the treatment room to meet 12 patients and presents a powerful case for rehabilitation over revenge, compassion over condemnation, and empathy over fear. Yeah, that is just so interesting to me. Definitely want to get to this next year.
The journey is usually the part that you remember anyways.
Number 18 is The Names by Florence Knapp. I just bought this in Melbourne. I literally just bought it for the cover. This is an alternate cover from the original and I think it's beautiful. So I bought it. But I had heard of it. People have been reading it this year and loving it. So I would love to get to this as soon as possible. So this book goes over 35 years and spans across 3 alternate versions of these people's lives based on the name that Cora chooses for her son. So she has 3 different names in mind, and this just follows what their lives would look like with each of those names. I don't know, really interesting concept. I don't see how much a name could change things, but it's really interesting to think about and a really interesting concept. Number 19 is Sunburn by Chloe Michelle Howarth. I still don't know how to say that. That is just how I chose to say that. This I also bought with the previous book in Melbourne. I would love to get to this summer. It is described as Sally Rooney-esque, and it's a literary fiction / romance, like queer romance, I think. Pretty sure it looks pretty up my alley, honestly. It says, Sunburn is an astute and tender portrayal of first love, adolescent anxiety, and the realities of growing up in a small town where tradition holds people tightly in its grasp. Yeah, looks really interesting, and I know I've said that about every book, but it's true, they all look really interesting, and that's why they're on this list. What can I say? Number 20 is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. This is a fantasy slash romantasy. I loved this author's debut duology, One Dark Window, and this is her latest release. I think it's also going to be in a series, but I'm not sure how many books there are going to be. I bought this because I just loved the author, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. So I think the main character is what's called a diviner, and she receives dreams from these things called omens. They're like visions, I think. And pretty much they could be about anyone, and people come to her to see what her visions are. And I don't really know what happens after that, but that concept alone sounds interesting. And again, I just love this author, so yeah. Number 21 is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. I said this in a previous video as well, but I have started this. I don't know how far I got into it, but I never finished it, and that was not on purpose, you know? Like, I just think it was in a time where I was not in my reading era. So...
She said. I like that laugh.
This is a historical fiction novel set in World War II. I'm pretty sure it's about a father and his daughter. His daughter is blind. So when the Nazis invade Paris, they take refuge in St. Malo. And I don't know too much more, but I've just heard really, really, really good things about this. It's well loved. There's a TV show, you know, so I just would love to finally get to this and finish it. The same for number 22, The Song of Achilles. I did start this when I again was not in my reading era, so I never finished it. I think I just put it down and something else interested me, and I just never wanted to get back into it. But I do remember really enjoying it. But I think if I were to start it again, I would really appreciate it much more than I would have when I was reading it like 3-4 years ago. So really would love to just pick this up again and finally get to it and finally finish it, because it's just really annoying that I haven't read it. Number 23 is A Little Life. I would just love to get this off my physical TBR. Like, it sort of just hangs there over me, like, you've still got to read that. I think I really, truly just need to bite the bullet, rip the band-aid off and start reading it. It is very scary though, because it sounds traumatic. It sounds very depressing. I've said this before, people read it and they love it, but they do not recommend it. I do want to read this, but I just have never wanted to pick it up because of that, and I think it's finally just time. This is a fiction novel about 4 classmates who moved to New York. In the synopsis it says, they moved to New York to make their way. They were broke, adrift, and buoyed I don't know, only by their friendship and ambition. That is all I know, and the fact that it's going to be wildly depressing. I just need to read it. I just need to get it over with and read it. Number 24 is Mistborn, The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. This would be the first Brandon Sanderson book that I ever read, and would start my journey into his vast literary worlds. He is just a well-loved fantasy author, and I think it's just time to delve into it. I've had this trilogy for almost 2 years now, haven't read it. It's intimidating, but also I think it looks really good. I don't know anything about it. I really love to go into these things blind, but it's just really well loved, and I'm very, 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 very excited to finally get to this next year. Number 25 is The Ministry of Time by Kayleigh Bradley. I think that's how you say it. I do own this book, but right now I am from lending it to someone, so I don't have it with me. This one also intimidates me, so I just think if I put it on this list, it is a very good incentive to finally read it. It's definitely about time travel, and it's definitely a unique concept. Something about people who work in the time... I don't remember how it works, but I think they help time travelers who are from like centuries ago.
Have you ever had a dream that
They help them adjust to the modern world from my memory. But I mean, doesn't that sound interesting? But definitely, oh my god, can I say that one more time? So I will be reading that next year. I don't know what else to say. And number 26 is Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. I have been putting this off in a major way, which sucks because it's so short. I bought this maybe over a year ago because it was very popular all over BookTok, BookTube, you know, and it's short and it was cheap. So I bought it, and honestly it sounds very interesting and very up my alley from what I remember. That's why I bought it. I actually have no idea what it's about, and I think it's better that way, to go into this blind. Ow. I think putting it on this list will incentivize me to read it next year, get it off my TBR, you know, just, I don't know, I'm so tired. Okay, and with that, there you have it. That is my 26 books I want to read in 2026 list. Hello? Please let me know what books are on your 26 books you want to read in 2026, or just books, you know, that you want to get to next year. I would be really interested to see and hopefully be able to put some more books on my mental TBR. Yeah, so let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed, please, would you be so kind as to like and subscribe? Yeah, I really hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Whatever you're doing this holiday season, I hope it is joyful and fun. I'm so glad you're here, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!